Salutations, Dufos. This is your fabulous leader, the Queen of Shade, coming at you with another special presentation. Today, I have someone with me that I first saw on Good Morning America. And their story, his story, inspired me so much. I never thought that I'd be talking to him. I just followed him on social media and watched him. And he has only gotten better and better with the things that he is doing and has done. And now he's here for all of us to get to know a little better. So without further ado, and having said all of that, I would like to introduce you again, because you probably know who he is, to Tony Adkins, better known as the Dancing Doc. Did I get it right?
Yes, you got it right.
All
Thank
right.
you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So like I said, I first saw you on Good Morning America.
Mm-hmm.
And
Awesome.
your story, what was that like, Good Morning America?
It was my first interview, so it was the first interview, and I was in mainstream, and I was like very nervous at that point, and I did not know what to do or what to think. So, all the producers, they kind of coach you on what to say and how to say it, because you only have a short amount of time, and you can't go outside of that box, and so it was I was nervous. I cannot lie.
Yeah, it's this is what we want. Well,
Right.
we're not like that. This is my platform. You can loosen up, you can relax.
All right.
There are no curveball questions. There are none of that. So, like, I'm curious, because I know the story and I want to catch people up, and we're going to do that. So I want to know, where are you from?
So I'm from Southern California, basically over in the area, what they call it, Crenshaw District area. And so I was the youngest of two older brothers with a single mom, latchkey kid. So I come home after school and locks the doors, and I just stayed at home all the time. And my older brothers were involved in gangs, and I seen the lifestyle that they were in, and I didn't want that for myself, and nor did I want to be struggling like my mom trying to raise us. So it's like, I'm going to do something, and I'm going to make it big when I get there.
So you're hitting me from the beginning. I didn't even have to ask.
Yeah.
You're an open book here. Oh my God. So yeah, seeing that we have that in common. My mother started doing drugs when I was 5 years old. And my father, he had mental illness, and my mother did too, but they were both absentee in my life. I was raised by my grandmother and my aunts and uncles. We were passed kind of around the family, but my grandmother was the main one that raised me. So I understand that we moved. She was a teacher, mind you. So, a teacher is not a real big salary. So there was a lot of struggle there. I slept on the floor from middle school to high school, but that was because it was an opportunity to go to school in the suburbs. So it was, for me, it was worth it, because I graduated from high school and then continued to college. So seeing that, what made you think medicine? Like, when did you realize, okay, I need to apply myself in school? Because you're a physician's assistant. That's not easy to do. So when did you realize?
So, it's a long trek. And so what happened is that I was in school, and my mom just wanted me to just be in school because my brothers were doing not that great. And so I was in school, and in high school and junior high, there's probably like 5 levels. So there is a special ed courses where kids that have developmentally challenged. There's remedial courses, kids that are kind of like in school just to be in school. And there's regular courses. Then there's AP, and then honors, or I think honors and AP, one of them goes on top. But I was in remedial classes. So I was a step above special ed classes. So I did not apply myself. I was the class clown, and I was just in school because my mom wanted me to stay in school and do something. And so when I came close to graduation in high school, I didn't know what to do. So And that's when a army recruiter showed up and was like, "Hey, I can get you going everywhere you want to go, or get you paid, and you just hang out in the army." And I was like, "All right, I'll go." So I went to the military for 9 years, and while I was in the military, I came back for a little bit, and I was at one of my friend's house. And I woke up before everybody else woke up, and I just kind of sat there and like thought to myself, what do I want to do for the rest of my life? What do I want to do that is going to fulfill me and always fill up my cup so I can give it to others? And so I say, I want to be a pediatrician. And from that point on, that's what I wanted to do. And I had to go through junior college. Typically it's like 2 years. I did 6 years and then transferred. And then when I transferred to a major university, I went to Texas Tech. Nothing wrong with Lubbock, Texas, but it's pretty racist. And this was back in 2000. And I said, I can't stay here. I'm a California guy and everybody is really friendly. So I was like, I'm going back west. So I got back into UC Riverside, and I was back in there in 2001. And that's when September 11th happened. And I was there for 2 weeks. And then I got called to active service. And then I left for 2 years. And then I came back and then finished my neuroscience degree, and then went off to public health, did master's in public health, and then went to PA school. So it kind of diverged from going to medicine, MD or DO, because I saw it as it wasn't far to grasp, but it was going to be a lot more time. And I know time is just what we think time is, and we can do anything regardless of time. But as I can do the same thing that I really want to do, is just touch people and heal kids. And so that's why I decided to go to physician assistant school versus medical MD school. So
Mhm.
that's a long story around where I got to.
No, but I appreciate it and I thank you for sharing it, because what I see is that, for you, and I want everyone to understand who's going to see this because it is pre-recorded. I want them to understand that it wasn't an easy road for you. I want them to see, and I want them to understand that it wasn't an easy road for you.
Yeah.
It's kind of thing. I have this thing that I say, there are 4 ways out of the hood for us:
Mhm.
athletics, entertainment. What's the other one? It's athletics, entertainment, the military, and I'm missing one. Hold on. Athletics, entertainment, the military, and there's another one. I can't think of it,
Mhm.
but there are literally just 4 ways that we can
Mhm.
advance ourselves to
Yeah.
leave, the hood. And it's
Mhm.
not even, it doesn't even have to be the hood. It's just
Mhm.
a struggle situation,
Yeah.
you
The
know?
poverty situation. Yeah.
Yes, the poverty
Mhm.
situation.
Mhm.
And to see that, how you did. So 6 years
Yeah.
for a 2 year associate.
Mhm. Yeah.
Wow.
Because I was in remedial classes and I
Mhm.
didn't have the things that I needed to do to transfer. So I had to start from basic mathematics all the way to second year calculus. Basic
Mhm.
chemistry all the way to biochemistry, and each class is only offered at a particular time. So if you miss that cycle, you got to go all the way back around. And so these things are very pertinent, and a lot of people get tired out and they just give up. And I told myself, I'm not going to give up. This is something that I'm going to do for myself and my future family, because I want to be able to provide. I don't want to be like when I was with my living with my mom and my brothers, where one day we may come home and no electricity is on, and my mom has to wait till the next day to kind of talk to them and say, oh, can I pay a little bit on it? And just turn it back on. I have kids, those type of things, those things really stick to people that have been in that situation. And so, when you're hungry, you're very hungry. And so, what to do to get out of that situation.
Yeah.
And some people resort to violence and getting it they think it's the easy way, but it's actually the harder way, because if you get caught, you'd be somewhere for a long time, or you'll be under the ground and have a short life.
Yeah.
And so I knew what I wanted, and I was not going to stop. And when, um, what's his name? Uh, I forgot his name, but when that rapper came out, hustling, every day I'm hustling is like, that was my theme song.
Right.
So I was like, I am hustling every day.
Right.
So, yeah.
Would you say, I remember now, it's
Mhm,
education, entertainment. I should have known that because I'm in that.
mhm,
Education,
yeah,
entertainment, the military, or athletics. Those are the four.
yeah.
Um,
Mhm,
in the system, trying to get your education, trying to get to where you wanted to get to,
mhm.
would you say that the system would you believe that the system was set up to kind of make sure you didn't advance?
Along the way, you do get roadblocks,
Mhm.
either it be from instructors
Mhm.
stating that, you should, do this, or counselors for that matter,
Mhm.
saying, that's a long ways away. You need to be doing this. You sure you want to do this? If you go this route, you can do this. So, I was in the era when 95, 96, when I started junior college, where, you had a lot of counselors that would try to steer minorities in a certain direction versus others. And I was like, in a lot of my classes, I was the only Black person there.
Mhm.
And so, and when I graduated from my physician assistant program, it was myself and one other girl from New Orleans, and that was it. And so, you notice as you get higher up, you become the only one. And in my hospital, I'm the darkest one in the hospital, but I'm the brightest person in there.
Right, right. So fast forward a little for me.
Mhm,
So you complete your program.
mhm.
How was it like to get your, because I don't know, with the physician's assistant, do you still have to do a residency?
You don't have to. It's not required.
It's not required. So how was it
Mhm.
like trying to apply for that first position?
So, interesting for me, I had some colleagues back here because I went up to Washington State.
Okay.
And so I had some colleagues back in California or Los Angeles. And when I was on my way back, as I graduated on August like 23rd, and my wife and my two girls, we were in the U-Haul on August 24th. And so
Mm,
on my way back, I once I got my license, or before I got my license, I took my exam, got my life. Before I got my license, already was talking to one of my friends that was here in the urgent care in Hollywood. And so that's where I got my first gig, was in urgent care in Hollywood. So it wasn't that hard. Once you get into medicine or entertainment, it's all about who you know. And so fortunately for me, it was about I knew people, and once you give me an interview, you're gonna take me because I'm gonna talk my way into it. So I may look like this, but once you start talking to me, you understand, like, oh no, he really knows what he's doing, and he's a really nice guy. And so, and so that's how I got my first job. But then all the like my second job that I got, I just looked up on my iPhone and just typed in orthopedics on the map search in Orange County. And so once I did that, I just started calling people. And I called the office, and the office was like, "Oh, did you see our listing on Indeed?" And I was like, "No, I didn't see it. I just called you guys." He said, "Oh, you just called us." I was like, "Yeah, I need a job, so I'm gonna call you." So then they just brought me in for an interview, and they gave me the job. And so
yeah.
I'm one of those people that, I'm not going to let things pass me by. I've always been taught a closed mouth don't get fed. So I'm gonna fight for what I need.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sitting here talking to you and hearing your story, we didn't get to hear this on Good Morning America. We didn't get
No.
to hear this. It was sensationalized, and that was good because it
Yeah.
got America's attention. and
Yeah.
abroad. You know, we knew who you were. We knew you were the dancing
Mhm.
doctor. We knew that you were
Mhm.
brightening these patients and children's lives. We knew that.
Mhm.
And we got
Mhm.
behind you. It was like, great, great, great. But
Mhm.
we didn't know
Mhm.
degree of difficulty that it took for you to get there.
Oh
Because
yeah.
like you said, you know, you are a physician's assistant, but you're also in entertainment now.
Mhm.
And in both,
Exactly.
like you said, in both, you got to know people. And it's
Mhm.
just like, I didn't know how this was going to go, but like I know me, like I know how I talk, and
Mhm.
what my agenda is to just shine my light on everyone.
Mhm.
But like the fact that you are opening up, I have questions now.
Mhm.
So you met your wife before physician's assistant
Mhm.
school. Well, and
Yeah.
you had your babies. You had your babies before.
Mm. Well,
Wow.
we had our second child came in the end of my first year. And so
Hmm.
it was pretty rough.
Yeah.
But my second child came my into my first year, and my OBGYN instructor that had just moved to Spokane, Washington, where I was at. He somehow became our OBGYN. And my wife was like, they gave me to this new guy. His name is Dr. Miltzer. And I was like, oh, really? I was like, he was just in my class earlier today. He's going to be our new OBGYN instructor. And sure enough, we were talking. And when we were going into labor because we got induced, he was like, "You want to deliver?" And I was like, "Hell yeah!" so he was like, "All right, go put on those scrubs." And sure enough, I'm sitting there down there doing all of the necessary, and she up there pushing. I'm like, she was like, they sitting there talking in between my pushes. I'm like, shut up. So I brought my daughter into this world.
Wow.
Mhm.
You know, it's a lot for a man to have to provide that by itself, especially being Black.
Yeah.
It's a lot. But I don't have children myself, but I help to raise my nephews. So
Mhm.
I know the feelings that come when you hold that life
Oh
and
yeah.
you realize I am responsible for you. And I
Mhm.
also know that light that comes on in you that says, I'm going to make sure you have everything you need.
Yeah,
That
legit.
provision just,
Mhm.
it's like, I can't even describe it, but it's just
Mhm.
like all of a sudden, it's like, I'm going to get everything I can possibly get so that you don't
Mhm.
have to suffer, so that you don't have to struggle. My God,
Yeah.
you had two girls, right?
Mhm.
Wow. So
Yeah.
that's these were daddy's girls. I remember being in high school and I had a friend in high school, and he said the day he had girls was the day he was buying a firearm because he was like, I don't trust men around my
Uh,
girls.
seriously.
Right. So you're a girl dad. You're a girl dad.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
Yeah. So tell us, you get there, this is your job, you're in Washington, and when did you decide I'm going to turn on some music and make this patient feel better?
Yeah, and so it was when I got to Children's Hospital of Orange County here
Okay.
in Orange County, California, and when music used to take me away from my situation when I grew up
Mhm,
in the hood.
mhm.
And so I used to have, out here used to be like a hip hop radio station on the AM channel, which was called 1580 K Day. And so they used to play all of the things that didn't play on the FM, just regular stuff that you never hear, like NWA,
Mhm.
Run DMC, you know, Big Daddy Kane, Curtis Blow. So all the things you never heard. And then I used to watch VH1 when they had videos, MTV when they had videos, BET when they had videos. And so all these things, my whole life has always been around music. And I never really cared for just TV shows and reality TV shows. I never really cared for that stuff.
Mhm.
I just always, I can, as long as I have a radio on, I'm okay. And so, and those took me out of my situation of the gun violence, the ambulances, all the things that were going on where I grew up at. And so when I went to go see one of my kids, he had leukemia. He beat that, and then he had a lot of things that caused in neurosurgery that we had to get involved. And so once he started having being there for a long period of time, and so I would see him every day, and I would see the glow in his eyes getting kind of dimmer and dimmer. And so I was like, you know what, I know what I did when I was like that. So I just turned on some music, and it was Can't Touch This. And I started acting like the way I normally act. And so I was like sitting there dancing, and then I was like, "Come on, dude, you gotta get up. Let's do this." And then he gets up, he started dancing, he started laughing. His mom filmed it, then she put it on social media, and then just kind of exploded
Yes.
as one of my treatment modalities now.
Yes. So you've been doing it. So how long have you been the dancing doc? How many years has it been? Because I'm trying to think. I saw you before the pandemic. I saw you way before
Yeah.
the pandemic.
Yeah. So it was, this was back in like 2018 when I was doing it. And then this was probably like in May or so when I started doing it. And then when Good Morning America, local newspaper, and then Australia Morning News, when that hit in September, October.
Mhm.
And so from there, it just kept on just spreading further and further out.
Wow.
Mhm.
So all that hard work that you did to get there, all
Mhm.
that you went through to get there, and then
Yeah.
to have the universe position you where you could be recognized for
Mhm.
your, like you said, your quirkiness or your goofiness
Mhm.
or something, doing something that came so naturally to you. Because that's what people need to
Yeah.
understand. Like, and that's why I
Mhm.
asked you, this isn't an act. This is what you
Mm-mm.
did to get through your own life struggles.
Yeah.
So you basically shared a portion of you with each and every patient.
Yeah.
So they weren't just getting dance routines, they were getting a portion
Mhm.
of you, your
Mhm.
drive, your tenacity, your unwillingness to quit, your
Mhm.
determination. They were getting that, and they needed that to survive.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah.
you see, you're deeper than I thought. You're deeper than I thought. See, you're deeper than I thought. We didn't get all of this on the television, but I'm glad that I'm
Yeah.
understanding now, because as
Mhm.
people see this, they're gonna be like,
Mhm.
whoa, we didn't know that. We didn't know
Mhm.
that. So,
Yeah.
so that was 2018, 19, 20, 21. It's 3 years,
Mhm.
and you're still dancing at this hospital.
Yep.
I actually, what made me reach out to
Mhm.
you was I actually was looking at your page. It came up in my feed,
Uh-huh.
and I saw you with Akila Duffy.
Yeah.
How you
Yeah.
say,
That's
okay,
my
that's
girl.
her name. Yeah, famous
Yeah.
ballerina. And
Yeah.
what got me, now mind you, I see it as the video starts off, you're supporting her, and everything looks like it's supposed to. Then the next thing I know, she dances on stage and you're rolling around the floor. You're rolling around the floor, and I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on here? I'm like, but
Yeah.
I was just like, wow, like, but you were doing it, and you just made it look so fun. It just looked so fun, and I'm like, okay, you're actually on the stage where the performance took place, and you're
Mhm.
just goofing off, like, hey, I'm here,
Yeah. Right.
So
That is
that's my
me.
question to you. Being opened up like this, have you been
Mhm.
able to make a lot of friends and acquaintances?
Oh yeah, all over the world,
Yeah.
and you know it's so different when I grew up as a kid, when
Mhm.
your people that you knew were just people within your neighborhood, um, down your street, around the corner, people you
Mhm.
spent the night at their house, your school folk. But then, as the advent of cell phones, and then MySpace, and then Facebook and Snapchat, and Instagram and all these things. Then we started expanding.
Yeah.
And when I was a little kid, I told my mom, I said, I want to help at least 1 million people when I get older.
Yeah.
And so far, I have about 2.5 million followers on Facebook and 400 and something on Instagram. And so I've reached what I told my mom that I was going to do.
Yeah.
I mean, it's all because that I'm just me. There's nothing to say, I'm different, or when you see me in the street, you're like, "Hey, Tony," and they'd be like, "Oh, you're the dancer." I was like, "Hey," it's like I follow you. I was like, "Oh, thank you so much." It really means a lot. Because the what I do is trying to help that next person that you know think about they can do it, but don't really know how to do it, or don't even know they have the drive in them to do it. And so that's the reason why I do what things I do, as well as that not a minute is promised.
Right.
And so everything that I do it because I am enjoying what I do. And this wasn't easy to get to. And since I'm here, I'm going to have a blast. As
Yeah.
long as they say I can do it at the hospital, I'm just going to have fun, and every day is a gift. And so that's how I treat it. Because these kids and these parents go through so much, and
Yes.
I see them, and I carry their burdens all the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, that is one thing. I actually was going to go to school. I went to college for biology. I had to
Mhm.
struggle too, a really big struggle. I was medically withdrawn
Yeah.
from college
Mm.
because I live with bipolar type 1, PTSD,
Yeah.
acute anxiety
Mm.
disorder. So I didn't know what the
Uh,
hell I was going to do because in the Black community,
mm.
mental illness, what is that? We're not
Mm.
talking about that. We're hiding that.
Mhm.
And today
Yeah.
I do what comes natural to me, which is give
Mhm.
inspiration and music and art. But I find
Mhm.
that what me
Yeah.
doing this is what took off the most because I'm just
Yeah.
sharing my experiences. I'm talking to
Right.
people and we're
Right.
having real conversations about the struggle and
Mhm.
about the triumph. I had
Yeah.
no idea that, and it was so crazy because I actually had someone approach me about Good Morning America, and
Mhm.
their attitude was, "Oh, we can get you on Good Morning America because I have a business." So it's like, okay, well, we
Mhm.
can get your business featured on Good Morning America. You just have to give us $18,000.
Mm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
Mm.
so I said to them, I said, "Oh, it's not my
Mm.
time. It's not my time."
Yeah.
I didn't have
Yeah.
$18,000. So
Right.
I was like, it's not my
Wow.
time. Yeah. So it's
Jeez.
very we all get there different ways,
Mhm.
but it is so much more sweet when you realize
Mhm.
the person that's there deserves to be there.
Yeah.
You definitely
Yeah.
deserve to be there. Here comes a
Thank
curveball
you so much.
question. Yeah, here comes a curveball question. What's your favorite color?
It's blue.
It's blue. All my men have been saying blue. Now I'm gonna hit you. Why blue?
Okay. All right. So where I grew up at is the shopping center that Nipsey Hussle got killed at.
Oh,
Is where I went to. There was a daycare center there before,
okay.
and so that is where the gang is called Rolling Sixties. And so the
Okay.
Rolling Sixties are, that's my family is part of that. And so
Oh,
all I knew was blue. I didn't know red. And so, growing up, you don't wear certain colors in certain neighborhoods. So then you're almost forced to love one thing. And for me, it's just blue. That's it. Tony Blue. I'm in my boom boom room is what I call it.
right.
My wife we just moved to a new home,
Mhm.
she gave me a little thank you. She gave me a room, and I call it the Boom Boom Room from
Right.
Life, with Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence,
Right.
and my Boom Boom Room is painted blue.
Right.
And so and that's the reason why blue is my favorite color, is because of the environment that I grew up in kind of forced me to be around nothing but blue, and I couldn't change it.
Okay. Um, how are your brothers today?
Today, my oldest brother, I think he's been out of jail for the past like 3 years or so, and now he works in Central California as weight and waste management.
Okay.
And so, being in and out of incarceration, you're
Wow.
limited to what you
You
can
can
do
do.
on Earth.
Mhm.
So they
Mhm.
don't want you doing nothing because they
Right.
think because you went to jail, you can't do anything. And it's
Right.
like it's backwards. People go to jail and they like find themselves and they like, I'm not doing this ever again. And then it's
Right.
so hard for them to get a job, but then they resort back to where they came from.
Mm.
And so he got a job in waste management, dealing with things that nobody wanted to deal with, as far as like toxic waste and
Right.
things like that. So, and he's doing great. He's a manager up there, so I'm
Mhm.
so proud of him. My middle brother, he has a detailing business, and he is living at my mom's house, and he's doing okay for himself. But
Yeah.
and he works in telemarketing, so and those are the only type of jobs that they can attain without education.
Right. You know,
Mhm,
one thing that I realized, because I have some family members in and out of jail myself, I find that there's not enough understanding in the world for people
mhm,
to understand that this is the environment that they came from and that this is what they have to do to survive.
mhm,
If more people did shed light on the reasons why people are incarcerated and why they live their lives, there would
mhm.
be, the world would be, I would feel like there would be more sensitivity. But
Yeah.
my question to you is, it's Christmas time. You took this and it's
Mhm,
Christmas time. So will you be seeing other than your nuclear family, will you be seeing any
mhm.
family for Christmas?
Um, right now, I am on call on Christmas Day and the day after Christmas, so I will be going into the hospital like after we do our normal things here of opening presents. I'll be seeing other people that'll be in the hospital on Christmas Day. So that, as well as afterwards, I come back, then we'll go to my family
Yeah.
home in so it's about 30 minutes away from where we live in Los Angeles.
Hmm.
So we will be seeing others, but my day is going to be filled with making sure my daughters and my wife are taken care of in the morning, and then heading off and taking care of other folks, and making sure they're doing okay and having a mediocre time. Some people don't really care one way or the other that they're in hospital or not, just as long as they feel better. And um, being with kids, it's a little different for different type of holidays. And so um, I had started a gift a gown thing that I'm doing with another company called Brave Gowns,
Hmm.
and I'll be delivering these gowns. They're pretty amazing little gowns for kids. They're not the regular little hospital gowns that everybody
Right.
gets. So I'll be delivering these other little gowns on that day, all around the hospital before I come back home. Yeah, that's what I'll be doing.
You know what I realize about you?
Mhm, mhm.
You're a soldier, first of all, so thank you for your service. But
Thank you.
you're very welcome. But you're responsible for a lot of lives. You are responsible for a lot of lives. And I find that the divine picks only the best people to be able to do that,
Hmm. Oh
you know,
yeah.
to be able to be responsible for so
Yeah.
many lives.
Oh yeah.
And I know that that can't always be easy. I
Mm.
know that some of those lives you
Mhm.
go ahead, you say something. You're going to say something there?
Oh no, I'm just
Uh,
saying. Yeah, I agree.
no,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
it
not
just,
easy. Yeah.
yeah, I don't see that being an easy job.
Mhm.
It's something. My doctor and I have become friends, and I love my doctor. I love my doctor like I love my brother. And I remember talking to him, and he's younger than me. I'm
Mhm.
39, so he's younger than
Mhm.
me. And I remember talking to him, and he had just had his second child, and his wife is from Germany. And
Mhm.
I remember saying to him, like talking to him, because he was like, listen, my wife's families in Germany and we want to take the kids to, go see them because of COVID. We didn't get to see them. So they haven't even seen the baby that was born.
Mm,
And,
mm,
so I said to him, I'm like, well, why don't you take off a week and go to Germany with your family? And he very candidly told me, I can't afford to take off a week, so I, like, even as a doctor, an MD, I just
mhm,
respect all of you in the medical field, because you guys spend a lot of time away from your own families to make sure other people's
mhm.
families are okay.
Yeah,
And
a
I
lot.
say thank you for that as well. Um,
It's a
that brings me,
pleasure.
it brings me to my next segue.
Mhm.
How was COVID in your hospital? How was the pandemic in your hospital?
Yeah, so I work in two hospitals.
Mhm.
So the children's hospital is across the street from the adult hospital,
Okay.
and I do a lot of stuff. So I work in pediatric neurosurgery during the week, and then on the weekends I moonlight in the adult hospital in the emergency department.
Mm.
COVID in the adult hospital was rampant. They have
Mm.
300 and something beds,
Mm.
and I think like 200, close to 300 were COVID beds. And so
Mm.
that was draining the system because nobody was able to do elective surgeries for quite some time. And so when you come in and you have normal things that come into the ER, like cardiac arrest, or somebody has cancer, or they have a brain tumor and they need to get it taken out, or cancer and they need to be admitted for their treatments, and you can't be admitted because it's nothing but COVID. And so those instances did happen at the university hospital, as well as at my hospital, because the university hospital is probably like 5 miles away.
Mm.
It's UC Irvine's hospital.
Mm.
And so a lot of the hospital structure had to divert patients to different hospitals,
Mhm.
and as well as the children's hospital. Typically we cut the age off in like 25, 26. They had to raise the age limit to like 29, almost 30,
Mhm.
because of the adult hospitals were so inundated, and um, and that also overflowed into our hospital and the children's hospital, where the surgeries are put on a priority base. So there's three different priorities. There's priority for folks with brain tumors, traumas. That's priority number one. Or priority number two was, more for me, was changing different type of instrumentations. And then priority number three, it was ones that are more elective that could wait. And so we had to do tier systems on all the surgeries that went through the children's hospital.
Mm.
And then an adult hospital was even worse. It was like you can't do a surgery unless it is an emergent surgery. And that was it. And so, because they didn't have nowhere to put anybody after they went through surgery. And people were dropping like flies, and throwing them into big, containers, shipping containers, until the morgues were available to take the people, and then the morgue take the people, and then you have to figure out where you're going to put them at in the ground. So it was a whole backup process of, not putting people in the crematory fast enough, not burying people fast enough, so morgues get full, and then you have the morgue refrigerator trucks outside, and then you have the shipping containers outside of the hospital, and then you have the patients in the hospital, and so that whole line was getting backed up. And it was just a sad thing to see, because people, you're trying to save people, but then
Yeah.
your resources get really thin.
Yeah, the medical community was hit
Mhm.
very, very hard.
Yeah.
I thank you for being on the front line as well in that. You just have this about you, the army, the military, like you just are determined to protect and defend, like in
Yeah.
everything that you do. You're just your family, other families, the children, your children, like you're just, that is the narrative of your life, is that you're that man, you're like a dad. You're like, I'm going to make sure all these people are all right, and I
Yeah.
just can't be easy. So I'm going to ask, when's the last time you took a vacation? If you even have.
Oh no, I have to recharge. And so my recharge point was Thanksgiving weekend or week. My daughter, my oldest daughter, is a senior in high school, and she's in cheerleading. She's in track, and so the cheerleaders got invitation to be in the Macy's Day Parade, and so 15 of them said yes, and she was one of them. And so my wife was like, "Oh well, this is her last year. I think she should go. Uh, I'm gonna pay for her to go, and I'm gonna go too." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa! I'm not staying here by myself, so I'm going too." And matter of fact, the little one coming with us.
You're
So
right.
it was the most expensive trip we've been on, but
Woo.
I was like, "Man, we gonna go." So we made it happen, and I told my job, I was like, I'm gone for a week. I have to go and
Right.
to support my daughter. And it was cold, but we had the most amazing time, and I got a chance to meet so many people we follow each other on Instagram and Facebook, and so I went and down there to connect with, folks that, all we do is see each other and comment on each other's
Yeah.
posts. And I got to talk to them and do things with them. And it's just a blessing, you
Yeah.
know.
My God. So I'm going to ask a question. Do you see
Mhm.
yourself staying at the hospital, or like ever one day, like doing like your own kind of like thing, or side
Yeah.
kind of like, first of all, okay,
Mhm.
I have to set it up right.
Mhm.
Does anything in what you're doing now make you want to go back and become the fully fledged doctor, or are you okay where you are, happy where you are?
Yeah. So, as a physician assistant, you work underneath a attending,
Okay.
and every the you try to get your ages close together, because when your attending retires, you should be like behind them. But my attending is amazing guy. He is the most kindest person that you will ever meet on this planet Earth, and he helped me get my house.
Yeah.
And how many people do that?
Right.
Help you, pay off your debt. And
Right.
being in a minority, you're not taught that early,
Right.
that
Right.
this can follow you, so don't do that, or make sure you open this up and just don't touch it, so you can build your credit. So nobody tells you these things. And government and political science classes are taught early, but they don't really tell you much other than just this is what things are, and blah blah blah. And um so you think of when they're going to be retiring, what do you do? And so for me, my stops are, I want to do something as far as writing a book and try to share that things that have gone on with me,
Yeah.
in my story, as well as trying to do something in the pediatric world. I don't know how I can get it going as far as um, different type of foundations to help parents that have kids with cancer that can no longer function or work, because when your child has to be on a chemotherapy and be inpatient at days and weeks on end, there's not many jobs that will hold things for you. They can hold for a certain amount of time, but eventually you're gonna be like, I just can't do it anymore. And then when your child passes away, then that's even worse, because you're trying to grieve in front of everyone, and every day is a different day of grieving. You just try to dress your grieving up in a different face.
Yeah.
And so there's something that needs to be out there to kind of help these parents, because a lot of these parents, kids pass away, and and sometimes the hospital only is around to help the child and the mom while they're still alive and together. And then after that portion, then it's not much they can do because the child is no longer here, and there's not much we can do after that. Like,
Right.
I'm just trying to figure out where can I fit in that area.
You know,
Um,
you know, I this is so I don't even want to get into that, but it's
mhm,
unfortunate how our healthcare system is over here in
mhm,
America.
mhm,
I did have the opportunity to get sick in Paris
mhm,
and need the hospital for 2 months. And
mhm,
it was completely a different experience. I didn't receive a bill. I received the
mhm,
best. They, and I mean the best care. So I'm saying that to say not leave the country, but you could
mhm,
probably, if you're looking for somewhere to start, you could probably examine how other places are
mhm,
doing it, because they're the care in France. Like, I'm
mhm.
preparing to take my whole career to France, because I just,
That.
it's just I got to go when I was 22 as a model, and I was there
Mhm,
6 months, and I left my heart there. Having to return here
mhm,
was just not it for me. And I've spent
yeah,
the last 15 years working and building my empire, so I'd have something to support me in my move.
mhm,
But
yeah,
I don't see that being a real issue. You definitely have to write that book. Like,
mhm,
I'm just saying that book would be a bestseller, because everybody knows you. Everybody knows
yeah.
you. Everybody knows you. So they're like, okay, I remember this guy. This guy, yeah, let's buy this book. And you can talk there and be more candid,
Mhm,
like you were here. And I thank you for that. You were very candid, and you opened up, and
mhm,
I learned things about you I didn't know. And
yeah.
and I'm gonna say what it did. It made me respect you even more. It
Thank
made
you.
me, yes, it made me respect you. The fact that you went to a 2-year school and had to do 6 years. Like who does that? Like, most people, I don't care how driven they are. They're like, listen, I'm not doing this. I'm gonna do something else. Like, and you
Right.
kept going. That, like I said earlier, the
Mhm,
tenacity, the stick to itiveness, the
mhm,
diligence, the
mhm,
patience. These are all things that our community, our Black community, we
mhm.
don't really have,
Yeah.
so, or we're not taught to have at an early
Right,
age.
right.
Everybody
Yeah.
wants the entertainment way, quick and fast, quick and
Mhm,
fast, quick and
mhm,
fast.
mhm,
And my grandmother, I call her the Queen Mother, she always says, if it comes fast, it leaves fast. Somebody said it to me
yeah.
yesterday too in an interview. My buddy Joe Adorno.
Mhm,
If it takes a long time to come, it's going to be really hard to get it
mhm.
to go.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah, like, it's just, I'm so inspired by your story, like, because I didn't know,
Thank
like,
you.
because to see all of that, like, to see the children, and then COVID hits, and the morgue trucks, and the bins with bodies, and it
Mhm,
didn't, like, make you say, you know what, I'm moving to Mexico and I'm opening a scuba shop. You're
mhm.
still,
Yeah.
you're still like, I'm here, I'm available, and I'm going to be here.
Mhm.
So, my God, I really just want to say thank you. Thank you for sharing your
Um,
story. I am not going to keep you much longer, because, my God, like, I learned so much. Like, I learned so much, and I have a bunch of questions, but those questions no, I'll wait for the book. Wait for the book. I'll wait for the book. Like, I don't want you giving it away. I'll wait for the book. So please write that book. Please
I
write
will.
that
I
book.
will.
Yeah, please.
It's just so much. I do so much. I just like
I know,
my
but
time is so. Mhm.
you can have somebody write it with you.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can
Oh,
follow
I
you.
need to look for it.
You're a
I need to look for
celebrity.
that.
You're a celebrity. You got to do it that way. You're a celebrity. You are. The world knows you. So, and you've got this big old social media. All you got to do is put up there a post. I'm looking for writers. Da, 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 project. I'm very busy. Yeah. That's the
All
beauty
right.
of social. Like, that's the beauty of social media, is that
Yeah.
you can hire people from social media. You can
Yeah.
get things done, and you have
Yeah.
such, it's like me, they always tell me, but you have such a global reach. Like you have a
Yeah.
reach. Yeah. So maximizing your reach is essential while you are on the
Hmm.
front line, still doing what you do, saving lives,
Right.
making lives
Right.
better. So
Yeah.
what's your favorite song to dance to in the hospital when you're trying to cheer up a child?
Um, it's always been a little bit of so one of the artists is always happy.
Mm,
Bruno Mars is always has something that's going to be upbeat and bring happiness to kids, and they love it. Then there's Pharrell and Happy, and
yeah,
then,
yeah,
all those are they're timeless classics.
yeah.
And but then there's a lot of things that the kids just throw curveballs, and I'm like, oh, I didn't even think about that one. So so I get a lot. And you get a lot of different selections, but I've done pretty much the whole gamut of music genre that the parents have loved, and I've danced to Garth Brooks and everybody. So
Right.
it's like, it's all about, what they feel that they can be lifted from their situation and just have a good time and just release endorphins and just be in the moment.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Please tell all of us, even though I know and everybody
Mhm.
does know, please tell everyone where we can find you on social media, like your handles and things.
Perfect. So on Instagram, it's T underscore Malone, Malone, the number three. The reason why I chose Malone is
I was going
because
to ask.
Anchorman, it was because Anchorman came out at that time. And I was like, man, I think I want me a weatherman name. I'm going to be T Malone. So, and then unfortunately, after you get like 10,000 followers, you
Yep.
can't change it.
You can't change it. You
So,
can't change it. You can't even change
oh man, as long as I didn't say nothing like blackberry sexy, I'm
it.
all right.
Right, right, right. Delicious. 4, 4, 3, 2,
Right.
1.
Right. And then
Stuck
on
with it.
Facebook, it's gonna be Tony Atkins, and it's
Okay.
AD like David, Kins.
Okay.
And so just look for the blue check marks and you'll find
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I'm just making sure. Okay. Now what's campsite bio slash Tad Atkins? I mean T Atkins. I'm
it.
sorry.
Yeah, so Camp Bio is all my links
Okay,
to
good.
various things. So
Okay, good.
various interviews,
Okay.
different type of fundraisers that I
Okay.
do, or GoFundMe's that I have set up for patients. So all
Okay.
these different things. Yeah.
Okay, so I'll make sure I include that in the description. Thank you so much for being with me and thank you for
Oh,
sharing your
thank you. Thank
story.
you.
You're so amazing. And Merry
Mm,
Christmas. Merry Christmas,
likewise,
right?
likewise. We could say Merry Christmas here.
Right. We can say Merry Christmas here. So,
No, I come with the backing of ancestors and my mom that pushed me forward. And, she raised me, and she raised me with a big heart.
yeah.
And that is it.
Yeah. I came from my grandma.
Hmm.
This is the
Hmm.
reason I'm 20, I'm 39, but I'm like 60. My grandmother's 74 and she don't play no
Hey,
games.
I heard that.
Ladies and gentlemen, you have
Oh,
heard, we have all heard the vocal stylings and the story of Mr. Tony Dancing Doc Adkins. Thank you for being with us. We hope that we can talk to you again in the future when your book
of
comes
course.
out.
That's
Now,
right.
see, now I'm going to be, yeah, I'm on social media. So I'm like, where's the book? Where's the book? Where's the book? So you got to write the book.
I
But
will.
give me, before I let you go, give me 3 words that either inspire you or that you give to your patients that it can inspire them.
Um, hmm. Well,
Mhm.
for me, it's always it's honor, perseverance, and tenacity. That those are things that kind of keep me going, because of the military gave me drive and honor, and to protect others. And so I traded in my M16 and got a stethoscope. And I always said that I'm going to protect kids at all costs. nobody will go through me to get to them. They will talk to me before they can get to
Yes, that is,
them.
see, you are such a defender. You're such a, what's your
Hmm.
birth sign? What's your
Hmm.
birth sign?
Leo.
Yeah, you're a defender. That's why.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, say bye to all my people.
All right. See you guys.
Oh,
Thank you for having me.
thank
Been
you.
a pleasure and an honor, and
Thank
I will always cherish this moment.
I will too. Don't go away.